In major signs of tensions easing at the line of actual control, the disengagement between India and China has been completed from the hot springs at Galwan Valley in Ladakh. Earlier, the Chinese army had pulled back from PP-14, the site of the deadly clashes, on the 15th of June. Today, Indian and Chinese troops maintain dialogue and communication through military and diplomatic channels.
At present, according to the consensus that two border troops have reached at the commander-level military talks, the frontline forces of China and India have taken effective measures in the western section of the border in the Galwan Valley and other areas to disengage. The situation on the China-India border is generally stable and tends to ease. Both China and India will continue to maintain dialogue and communication through military and diplomatic channels, including holding a new round of commander-level talks and meetings under the mechanism of consultation and coordination of China-India border affairs. We hope that two countries will meet each other halfway, implement the various consensus reached by the two sides with concrete actions, and jointly strive to further de-escalate and cool down the situation in the border area.
The disengagement process began on the 6th of July, one day after the telephonic meeting between India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Following the 2-hour-long telephonic conversation between Doval and Wang Yi, a mutual disengagement process kicked off in Galwan Valley, Hot Springs, Gogra and in the Finger areas near the Pangong Tso Lake. Joining us on this broadcast is WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibbal for more updates on this developing story. Siddhant, first the Chinese troops had pulled out and pulled back from the clash site in the Galwan Valley. It's heartening to see that disengagement continues along the line of actual control, but more steps are needed, isn't it?
Galwan Valley, Hot Springs and the Gogra area, the disengagement has completely happened. The process had started a few days ago, and finally it is completely over, in a sense that the Chinese have moved almost 2 kilometers, but there are concerns still yet regarding the Finger area, where there is a thinning that has been noticed. The next step will be two conversations, one at the diplomatic level and another at the corps commanders level. The diplomatic level conversations will happen tomorrow, that is Friday, at the usual mechanism which has already met earlier few weeks ago, and then of course the corps commander meeting. This will be the first corps commander meeting that will take place this month. We know that they had met 3 times in the month of June, 6th June, 22nd June and on the 30th of June, and then thereafter the roadmap was decided on disengagement. But still, these are cautious few days, given the fact the verification, full verification is yet to happen regarding the movement by the Chinese and the mistrust that has developed with the incidences which have happened in the month of June, the Galwan incident in which 20 Indian soldiers died. But what the MEA spokesperson talked about was the fact that one thing is for sure, both countries need to make sure that there is a certain level of tranquility, and that can happen only when the steps are taken. It's a very long readout that was read by the MEA spokesperson, but by and large the intent was that India and China are now working together to make sure that peace and tranquility comes to the LAC area, which has been disturbed for almost more than 2 months now.
Absolutely. Siddhant, the disengagement continues even as the United States has minced no words. Yesterday, Secretary Pompeo, in fact, told China that the world will unite against the expansionist ambitions of China. Meanwhile, Siddhant also, shed some light. Earlier, the Indian government had banned Chinese-made apps due to security concerns. The Indian Army has also asked its personnel to delete close to 89 apps. They're not only Chinese apps, but also include popular apps like Facebook and Instagram and Tinder. What's the reason behind it?
Well, the biggest reason is, and this is not a new reason, the reason that these apps use data of Indian soldiers, Indian defense personnel sensitive data that can be used by any country, just not by China, but by any country. And that is the fear. And it's just not that it has happened overnight. Remember last year, the WhatsApp scandal in which it came to known that an Israeli company was responsible, was selling technology that can hack WhatsApp to get crucial data, and then thereafter the Indian Defence Ministry had asked its personnel not to use WhatsApp for crucial and sensitive information. So the Indian government, the Indian Defence Ministry takes